All right, so now here's where it starts with Bernie Sanders and Chuck Todd proving that he has no interest in being a journalist. He has no interest in being a moderator of Meet the Press or being fair and balanced and unbiased, because he lets Bernie spew garbage, unchecked, and he's happy to do it, apparently. Watch.
So what's going on right now, we're talking a whole lot about immigration. He is appointing Wall Street bankers, the same people he told us he would oppose, to very high positions. Gary Cohn has gotten the $250 million severance package from Goldman Sachs. He's now the main financial advisor. So we're talking a whole lot about dividing the American people up. We're supposed to hate Muslims. We're supposed to hate Latinos. We're supposed to hate blacks.
So you think all of this is a shiny metal object? You think all of this is a shiny metal object right now to distract the public, divide the public?
You got it. You got it.
You got it, Chuck. You read it just like I wrote it for you. Where's the journalist saying, what do you mean we're supposed to hate blacks? We're supposed to hate Muslims. We're supposed to hate Latinos. And then Chuck Todd says, oh, so you mean all that stuff? Which, by asking it that way and not saying anything else, says, yeah, that's true, Bernie. Oh, you mean that stuff? That we're supposed to hate all those people is a shiny object to distract us from what? I mean, my God. My God. What happened? Is there any pretense of being a journalist, Chuck? Any? More.
So we're all talking about, who do we hate tomorrow? Is it the Muslims?
Okay.
Is it Latinos? Who are we supposed to hate? And let's remember that when Mr. Trump some years ago helped lead the birther effort to undermine the legitimacy of the first African-American president in our history, it was trying to divide us up. And what I say to the American people, stay focused. Stay focused. Do you want billionaires and Wall Street executives to be running this economy, or do we want economic policies that work for working families and the middle class? Where is the discussion about raising the minimum wage to a living wage, pay equity for women?
He just lets them go on unchecked. Unchecked. He might have said, you know, tomorrow, which is today, the president's meeting with the Prime Minister of Canada, and among the talks, one of the main topics of conversation will be women in the workforce. But yeah, why bring that up? You got such a good thing going, Chuck. Let Bernie keep spewing and spewing and spewing. And it continued with, again, by omission, by failing to confront anything Bernie Sanders has to say on a show like Meet the Press, which is not like my show. I have an axe to grind. I have an opinion. He's not supposed to, and he'll tell you he doesn't. But obviously he does. So now the next topic to fearmonger on is what? Healthcare. Watch.
I think you're going to see people in conservative areas, in progressive areas, asking the Republicans, what are you going to do when you throw 20 million people off of health insurance? How many of them are going to die? What's your plan? What are you going to do when you raise prescription drug costs on average $2,000 for senior citizens? Are you going to really repeal the protection against pre-existing conditions so that people who have cancer or heart disease will no longer be able to get insurance? You're going to throw kids off their parents' health insurance program? Republicans are going to have to start answering those questions.
All right. Now, a journalist, Chuck, would have said, but Senator, the Republicans have said time and time again, and Donald Trump said not only as a candidate but as president, that any plan would keep the exemption for pre-existing conditions, would keep the kids, the 25-year-old kids, on their parents' health care plan. So when you say how many are going to die, and you cite those two things, come on, Senator. You know you're fear-mongering a little here. No, aren't you? Aren't you exaggerating a little bit? Nothing from Chuck. He couldn't care less. He's only too happy to be part of the propaganda machine. It's who he is. It's who NBC is. It's who the media is. But this is Meet the Press. Meet the Press. And then there's this.
Right now, we are in a pivotal moment in American history. We have a president who is delusional in many respects, a pathological liar, somebody who is trying to divide us up.
Can you work
Those
with
are
a
strong words.
Can you work with a pathological liar?
Just when you thought there was hope. So Chuck Todd says, strong words, delusional, pathological liar, instead of saying, can you back those accusations up? Give me an example of delusion. Give me an example of pathological liar. No. Can you work with a pathological liar? Meaning, you're right, Bernie. You're right. By not challenging him and by phrasing the question to include Bernie's description of the president as a pathological liar, Chuck Todd is checking off. Stamp of approval. You're right, Bernie. He is a pathological liar. Strong words. But can you work with a pathological liar? Meaning, yeah, strong words, but basically you're right. Question is, Bernie, not prove it. What do you mean by that? No, question is, but can you work with a guy like that? This is the state of the media. And Chuck Todd, who sat on my show and claimed he was a journalist and claimed he didn't have an opinion and claimed media bias was really not that big a deal, this was a disgraceful performance by Chuck Todd. Disgraceful. And that's where we're headed. We're in a media war. We are. There's this media and there's the rest of them. And the media, they're considered the right-wing media. You pick, folks. You pick and you choose.